Things just got interesting regarding De'Aaron Fox on the Sacramento Kings. I know he's not going to the Thunder. Let me get that out of the way. He's not going there, but it could lead to a way that Chris Paul of the San Antonio Spurs gets traded to OKC. They have this reunion. We've already talked about it before. It seems very possible, but this situation could happen. A buyout could happen regarding Chris Paul, and then he signs it for a contender trying to get a ring coming off the bench. I think that's the most likely outcome if Chris Paul does end up in Oklahoma City, and I think he could. But with some recent reports that have come out regarding the San Antonio Spurs and Sacramento Kings trying to get De'Aaron Fox over to San Antonio, multiple teams could be involved in a trade to make this happen. Now, we know for sure it would be Sacramento and San Antonio, but who would the other two teams be? And this is where I'm going to go in and talk about how the Thunder could be involved in a 4-team trade involving De'Aaron Fox and Chris Paul. Send them all on their separate ways. Get Fox paired up with Wemby, which would be a fantastic duo for years. Get Chris Paul in Oklahoma City, then what the other teams would get back in return. Before we get into all of that, just want to take a moment to recognize that around 68% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, but yet you're watching these videos and coming back on a regular basis. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy the content that we're putting out and you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is just by hitting that subscribe button. Also, if you're subscribed, we have a little charity month that we're doing here in the month of February, donating all my earnings here at Digest Media to the American Heart Association in honor of my sister, in memory of her. So, you know, if you're subscribed, you can be entering a giveaway. And then also the more that you donate to go to this charity, you could also possibly win a jersey, all right? Do a little drawing. Whoever donates the most will get a jersey of their choice. With that out of the way, let's go ahead, get into the content at hand today, talking about Chris Paul, De'Aaron Fox, this whole kind of like, we're about, not even a week away left, all right? We have like 4 or 5 days before the trade deadline hits and no more trades can be made. So you could expect a lot of teams to be very active before the February 6th trade deadline. And I think, I think, of course, Sacramento and San Antonio are getting this trade done. But the question remains, is Oklahoma City going to be part of any deal? Are they going to make any trades? Are they going to be active at all? Are they just going to stand pat and see if this team can get it done when and if they get healthy? And that's a big if at this point. I think they're going to be a little bit active, all right? I don't think it's going to be a major trade. I know we've talked about Cam Johnson multiple times. I think if that trade would have happened, it would have happened already, all right? Same with Bobby Portis. Same with any of these other big names. I saw Duncan Robinson get thrown out a little bit as well by some people. I think Chris Paul would be the only guy Oklahoma City goes after because they've already seen how he plays in Oklahoma City. He fits very well with Shai and Lou and actually help develop them. You could also use him in the same regards to develop guys like Topic, who's coming back from an injury, AJ Mitchell, who's going to be coming back from an injury. Could he also help out Dub a little bit, maybe even Chet? Help out a lot of these young guys that need a veteran leader on the team that can help develop them. And Chris Paul is one of the best developmental leaders and players out in the NBA. Look at the track record he's had with his teammates. They all go on to have potentially Hall of Fame careers. So I think it would be great to have him on the staff because of that. But my report saying that this could happen comes from this tweet right here, all right? Don Harris, who reports for the Spurs, said the Spurs are very active and perhaps close on a complicated 14 deal that would bring De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio. Stay tuned. So we reported this, all right? It's out there. It's kind of rumored like, hey, this is going to happen right here, all right? Just be ready for this trade to actually happen. De'Aaron Fox wants to go to San Antonio, and Sacramento wants to get him in San Antonio because they think they can get Stephen Casson back in return. The Spurs are very, they don't want to do that, but if they offer up a good enough deal, they'll be like, look, Stephen Castle, I know we really liked you, but De'Aaron Fox, he could be the future of this organization right here and bring us into contention next season. We got to let you go, all right? It's not like he's going to be a top 5 player of all time. He could be a very good player, but, I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer like they picture him to be. So it just gets very interesting. Some other stuff that we have here by Brett Siegel. There are some talks going around the league right now of a De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio trade gaining traction. So as we can see, all the big-time reporters, all right, that cover both teams, that cover the league as well, are saying this trade is gaining traction. It's going to happen. It's just the fact that it's a 14 deal. It makes it very hard to actually pin down what the pieces could potentially be. Of course, it's going to be De'Aaron Fox going to San Antonio, all right? But what's San Antonio going to give up? Who are the other two teams involved? I think OKC has necessarily the picks and a player that they could end up giving up to get Chris Paul in return. I'm not saying Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe. Let me go ahead and get that out right now. right? Chris Paul is not worth either of those players. He might not even be worth Kenrich Williams, all right? But the only two guys I could see OKC giving up in this situation would be Kenny Hustle and Ousmane Dieng. The only two players that I could see them giving up. Just fact of the matter, they make a decent amount of money where, yes, it wouldn't match the contracts, perfectly, but, all right, it does lead it where, like, yeah, we can just trade one of those guys and get Chris Paul in return because of the second apron. Does put us in luxury. I think Paul has a player option after this year. He could end up taking it. We can end up being like, look, please don't take it, all right? We won you your ring. That's what you really wanted. Just retire right off into the sunset. That's simple. So I think this trade, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to affect anything contract-wise because even after his player option, Isaiah Hartenstein has a team option. That's when Chet and Dub extensions start to kick in. Then the next season, the Thunder got to worry about extending Dort and Shai. So it's not going to affect anything long-term financially-wise like a Cam Johnson or Bobby Portis or any of these guys would in the long run. So I think that's a realistic option. The fourth team, though, I don't know who that could be. I truly don't. It could be a team with, picks that they're trying to get someone from Sacramento if they're truly blowing it up like it's looking like. Or, just trying to help in and just get someone off their team. It's like, look, we don't want him anymore for the rebuild-wise. He's not going to fit our long-term plan here. Take him off our hands right here. Boom, we'll take picks or something in return. I don't know what that's going to be. All right, I truly don't know what that fourth team is going to be. But I do believe Oklahoma City could be in the mix of that because what other team has a need for a backup point guard right now? All right, just right now for a finals run because they're not going to have AJ Mitchell. All right, Cason Wallace is going to remain as a starter because he's been playing very well as a starter, and Isaiah Hartenstein will probably be moved to the bench. Just that's the fact of the matter when you're looking at it. Realistically, that's the best option right there. And with the injuries, you want a veteran leader like Chris Paul to lead this team with that bench unit. With guys like Wiggs and Joe, he's going to be very good at finding open spots. A pick and roll with Hartenstein, who's a great lob threat, that could be very nice for Chris Paul. I think it fits in perfectly right there. All right, some other news that we have right here as well. By the, Dunk Central, the Sacramento Kings reportedly cover Stephen Castle, but there's doubt around the league that the Spurs will actually include him in a trade per Sam Amick. The Kings are known to covet the Spurs rookie guard, who was taken 4th overall out of Connecticut in the NBA draft last June, but there is serious skepticism in the league circles that San Antonio will be willing to include him. If that's ultimately the case, the Kings would have to determine whether that's an acceptable pathway to doing the deal without him. That's not the end of San Antonio's considerations either. So as you can see right there, they don't want to give up Castle whatsoever. They highly value him. They're like, look, he could be a great piece of our team in the future. And they even compared him to Shai and Luka. I don't know if I have this for the next picture, but they did, all right? Also, 3Cone. He tweeted about it and said, starting to feel like that De'Aaron Fox's Spurs Shams tweet is due at any time now. He tweeted this last night. I think it's due at any time as well. I have a feeling we're going to see a trade very, 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 very soon, whether that's today at the time of posting this video or tomorrow or the day before the deadline. But the deadline's happening, and the Sacramento Kings, they have to trade Fox before he could lose value next season because he has a ton of value right now. He's one of the best guards in the Western Conference, one of the best guards in the league as well, has a high ceiling. You need to trade him now while he still has high value because what if he drops off next season? What if the second half of the season you don't trade him and he drops off, doesn't play as well, and you lose value in him and you can't ship him off or you can't get the same kind of deal? You need to trade him now if you're Sacramento. That's what you need to do. All right. So that's why I have a feeling this trade's going to happen, and Oklahoma City is going to be in the midst of it and get Chris Paul in return. This is why this trade has huge implications for the Thunder. They need this to happen, especially a 4-team trade, because it limits what Oklahoma City has to do and give up to get Chris Paul in return, because I truly think that would be a great option for Oklahoma City to go after and get him. That's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys personally think about a Chris Paul reunion, and also who you think this fourth, and if you don't think it's a Thunder, the third team as well in this Sacramento-San Antonio De'Aaron Fox trade would be. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next video.